Hi there, folks, and welcome back to another edition of Mr. Songbyrd's Writing Mukbang. I hope you've been having a fantastic August. We're about 2/3 of the way through it. Time really does fly by. Now, time for another progress report. Oh, and I'm going to be having some Cajun turkey wraps and some thumb chips. I gotta say, these are some of my favorite chips. Let's see. I just really like the flavor. It's like harvest, vegetables kind of thing going on. Pretty good. Now, at this point, unfortunately, my progress fell behind a little bit compared to the past 2 weeks. I moved from being about halfway done with chapter 10 to about halfway done with chapter 11. So I got like one chapter done. Not terrible, but not as great as I was hoping for. What? Plenty of spices. Got avocado from inside. Turkey as well. I'm not usually a fan of turkey. This works pretty good. Now, the reason I'm currently behind on compared to the previous weeks, not so much I had writer's block per se, but I wanted like a change of pace, so I worked on a different story for a few days. That kind of slowed me down because you spend 3 days. That means you only have 4 left to work on it. Still, overall the product, my projected goal is still going to be like roughly chapter 12, 13 done. At the time I filmed this, I got roughly 9 days left in the month to do so. Basically, it wasn't so much a question like writer's block. It was more of I was getting worried about, because I'm basically doing editing, but it's more like worried about burnout. And one thing that often helps when you're like afraid of burnout is just work on something different, even for just a couple days. One thing I'm trying to do, differently as far as my editing process goes, I've taken a look at this one like a Pro Writing Aid, app, and and one thing I noticed when I was using it is one particular phrase they always got flagged by it. And it was pretty much like some variation of to be, not as in like to be or not to be, but more like any like basically was, is, could be, stuff like that. All that got flagged because it was passive writing. So one thing I've been trying to do is reduce my passive writing, replace those, wases, ises, etc., with more active verbs. Which is also good because the to be series of verbs tends to be very tell, don't show, as opposed to show, don't tell. Because you see, it's very easy to say something like, she was unhappy, or some variation thereof. What kind of sauce my wife used for this? I just asked her, she uses some mayo, hot sauce, and Cajun seasoning mixed together. Works pretty good. I do think I'd probably use a bit more, hot sauce. Like, I probably double the amount of hot sauce. Because, well, you know me. I like spicy stuff. But yeah, 2B and its variations make it very easy for your writing to be more passive. And, also a lot more like tell, don't show. Like, it's much easier, like, if rather than say, like, she was sitting on the ground, or, some variation of that. Gosh, what's a better one? Well, actually, they all kind of suck, so. To say, she seated herself upon the ground. Now, one question I got from a subscriber is, what are some tips for handling writer's block? There's lots of different, like here are some of the tips I found particularly helpful and one that I found particularly intriguing. One moment. First, what I do sometimes is I take some time to like think about the scene, what's going to happen, what I need to happen, etc. I often find myself listening to music, when I do so. Helps me like visualize it sometimes. Another method is just like work on something else for not a huge amount of time. Like, don't do this for like a week or more than a week, because eventually you'll forget about the story completely, or like what's going on, to refresh yourself. But like say like a day or two, a few days, you'll work on a different story. Now, a third option, this is one I've read about, but I haven't actually put into practice myself, but it intrigues me. And it's to work on a different part of the same story. This is maybe a secret to readers, but we as writers are not required to write in the order of chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. We could work on chapter 1, skip ahead to chapter 4, then chapter 8, then come back to chapter 2 and work on that. You might perhaps work on a different scene in that same story that's more intriguing to you. Obviously, this is more challenging when it comes to deadlines. If I just have to push forward on that, like I did last year with NaNoWriMo, what I do is I try to write some description, or something to start writing, something. Doesn't have to be great. Like, I know it's going to be garbage, frankly, but I can always work with garbage, turn something, pretty later on. Because with a writer, you can always recycle. But that's all the time I have for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Until next time, this is Charles, signing off. Bye, folks.